Welcome to Payments Playbook, the show where we explore the strategies and systems that drive smarter payments, stronger cash flow, and more profitable business. Brought to you by Paylink, the business-to-business payment experts. Now let's dive into today's episode. For today's episode of Payments Playbook, we have Pat Wilson with ENT Urgent Care. Welcome, Pat, and thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Can you share a little information about ENT Urgent Care, what you do, the history, and your role within the company?
ENT Urgent Care, we're reimagining specialty care. Access to specialty care has grown more difficult. We're building new workflows and knitting together a lot of private practice ENTs, with an ecosystem of different products and services to, help more people reach the care they need when they need it. My role as founder and president, my co-founder, Dr. John Boone, based up in your neck of the woods in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's an ENT surgeon. My background, I've been in private equity venture capital for the better part of 2 decades. Most recently was managing a health tech fund where we were doing a lot of novel healthcare delivery. That's where Dr. Boone and I connected, trying to broaden access to ENT care.
Sounds great. Can you explain the business model more in depth?
Absolutely. In venture speak, it's called network SaaS, where our role is an ecosystem connector. Our core customer is private practice ENTs, and we're trying to unite them under a common national platform that is ENT Urgent Care. We're providing value to private practice. Our lead product is the urgent care model. It's akin to if anyone had been to a Best Buy and you see like the Apple kiosk inside the Best Buy store. That's really what this is. So we'll partner with a ENT within a local market, say Dallas, Texas. The ENT Urgent Care becomes their urgent care brand within that market. We do that in every local market across the US. And we're acquiring patients online. You type in, I've got a nosebleed, or my son has a bad earache. We're coming up number 1, number 2 in that Google search and directing them to that local ENT partner where they can book an appointment same day, next day. That appointment is going to be staffed by any trained PP. And this really is kind of addressing a pretty common need within the marketplace. These are highly transactional patients seen within the next 24, 48 hours. They have an immediate need, typically ending up at an urgent care or PCP or a pediatrician. The average wait time across the US to see an ENT is 8 weeks. Sometimes it's longer depending on the market. Up in Nevada and Maine, it's like 6 months. So, it can be pretty, there's just a dearth of ENTs. We're not training more specialists, but we have more and more need. In fact, about 70% of the conditions that walk through the door of a typical urgent care are ENT related. Something's going on, shoulders up.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. So there's just this latent need for specialty care. And another fact about the typical ENT patient, someone walking through the doors of a typical ENT has been seen 5 to 6 times for the same condition before they end up at the specialist. We enable the training of nurse practitioners and PAs to address immediate triage and then, kind of addressing the problem where it is. And if you need kind of higher level care, whether it's a procedure or, consult, something like that, it's a fast track into the ENT surgeon himself. So that's our beachhead product, and where we're combining this 50-state network of ENTs. On top of that, we can layer other high-value products and services. I'll pause there before I get too excited about what's in the roadmap for us.
And right now you're rolling out across the United States.
We are, and we just opened the doors this year, earlier in 2025. We've been behind the scenes building some of this infrastructure. My co-founder, his practice, primary ENT up in Savage, this is our test kitchen. We are testing a lot of things that we're opening up to private practice in his clinic. He lost a large practice within the Twin Cities to open this single ENT retail clinic for us to trial and perfect some of these products and services before rolling them out. The first 18 months, once we felt the urgent care product was kind of ready for game time, we started offering that to other groups, and we've onboarded about 10 private practices across the US and about 60 more here in the pipeline. So we're busy beavers.
You're ramped up quick. Absolutely. So just to make sure I understand it, you're a business SaaS, so an independent practice would subscribe to the platform, right? And have all the tools and access to it, correct?
Yeah. And that's the way the urgent care product works. I mean, it's a patient acquisition tool for them. We're kind of redirecting, we call it intersecting a potential patient at the point of discovery, giving them the option instead of going to urgent care, why not start with a specialist? That's really the core of that product is a national brand. Yeah. Having a national brand, the more dots on the map, the more brand and site authority Google gives us. And that means, a lower cost of acquisition for everyone carrying the network.
Oh, it's very cool. And actually, I went on your website, the end user experience, like myself, I have whatever situation or ailment, I type it in, you come up first, and then it brings up to your website. What was very intriguing is in the top of the site, it says closest specialty clinic to where you live. And from that, I can schedule the appointment, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool, frictionless from the user experience. And that's what it's all about.
That's by design. Put the customer first, put the patient first. They want to be seen. This is an urgent condition they have, and they want to solve as fast as possible. From that point, they see the link on Google, making it as frictionless from that point of discovery to, getting on a schedule, like finding an actual appointment and say, like, I've got an appointment to be seen, this morning at 10 a.m. at this location. We want that, squishing that as fast as possible. It really leads to a better patient experience as well as higher conversion and lower cost of acquisition.
Since you pretty much just launched this year, when you're developing the platform, what were some of the challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
Great question. There are challenges every day. Right now, we did not anticipate as quick of an uptake as we've been getting. So we're staffing up to handle that volume. Healthcare is hyper-regional. Market has its own dynamics, especially healthcare dynamics, payers, providers, but also even within a single specialty, you might have a concentration of employed ENTs or private practice ENTs. That mix is always going to be different, and how that ends up affecting supply and demand also different. And so, we kind of take this hyper-localized approach within our patient acquisition engine, talking about the urgent care product. Our VP of patient acquisition, it really looks at a specific market. So say you have 3 sites that you want to launch, that kind of magic 20-mile driving radius or 20-minute driving radius around that is really that kind of catchment basin, and really seeing, who's putting ad dollars into that market, how competitive is that specific location. That affects the marketing budget. Our model is a flat rate for our proprietary patient acquisition tool and is fully managed by us. And that also helps us do economies of scale, but also, keep it hyper localized. And we have about I call it a word salad. Maybe it probably, my VP of patient acquisition is probably crawling into skin right now because it's way more connected to that. But it is, 3,500 words, phrases, things like that. Then it really is this intersection of urgent care and ENT conditions. That Venn diagram of overlap is what we're targeting. Developing that was challenging. How do you take something that is roughly 70% universal and then layering on that 20, 30% of customization around what that local dynamic is? And that changes. I mean, Google changes its algorithm all the time. Marketing dollars are not static. So you have different competitive aspects, whether it's a health system coming in or another private practice. So that is constantly changing. So we're constantly monitoring. Another piece of our philosophy is just like, hey, everyone has a different patient need. And so making sure your marketing dollars are matched to your marketing budget, basically matched to the amount of volume that you can see. We don't want you to spend $1 more or $1 less. We're to make a dime on your marketing spend. So it really is just a consultative, how much capacity do you have? We're trying to give you the right marketing budget to get the number of patients that you have the ability to see. And frankly, driving more patients. Hopefully you're training more APPs to handle that volume over time.
Once you get some data and history, you'll determine what patient acquisition costs are, over different markets, different regions, et cetera. What's your platform, within the medical space, ERP systems or medical practice systems? Are you working on integrating them into their systems as well?
Yeah, going back to what you were pointing out, making it a frictionless experience, integrating with the EMR, being able to book an appointment, and have that kind of bidirectional connection to a provider's calendar is essential. We've integrated with, ModMed, ECW, NextGen, Athena's next that we're integrating with. Epic is in the pipeline as well. We've got 2 more practices that are transitioning to that. So, we're going to be integrating there as well.
Yep. There's heavy lifting there without a doubt.
Yeah. And I'd say, we're in kind of our, philosophy. It's like, buy, build, or partner. We care about providing the best product and price for our private practice partners.
Oh, right now, AI is a topic for everybody. How are you leveraging AI within your platform?
Good question. It's a constantly moving target and opportunity. I'll mention one product we have live and a few more we're working on as well. So the product 2 coming out was an AI call center. We did this for ourselves. Having a single point of contact is great, but who's answering the phones? Most of the volume coming in is just somebody saying, oh, I'll schedule. We want to create a multimodal channel experience. So if you text schedule appointment, great. We can do that. You call someone, great. Do it online by yourself, awesome. Whatever your preferred mode of communication is, an AI agent, our name's Taylor, answer the phone and be able to, where are you located? When would you like to be seen? Here's some availability. There's none at the location nearest you. Would you mind driving 10 minutes down the road to the other location? So having that kind of be as conversational and, people want to get what they, came to, solve the issue that they want and get off the phone. So we've actually seen that, the AI agent, typically our receptionist, the average call time, in a traditional practice, about 3 minutes, doesn't get mad, doesn't get upset, is available 365 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doesn't take vacation, doesn't get sick. That call time has gone down to about 2 minutes instead of 3. She can also answer 10 calls at the same time. We're also working on a couple other, I think, neat tools on the RCM side to kind of offer up to our private practice partners in the works.
For the listeners, RCM is revenue cycle management.
So many in the healthcare space.
What just came to mind is when they schedule, are you allowing for video visits as well, or is it all in person?
That's a great question. Product 3 is a virtual care platform. So we're kind of trying to address both sides of the equation. Obviously, the supply being, opening access, creating more availability for patients to see an ENT or ENT trained provider. On the demand side, this is where the virtual care platform comes in, talking to national self-insured employers. Having a virtual ENT care solution will be another huge plug-in for the network. So you can imagine, 50 state network of, local private practices doing initial virtual triage. It's stepped care, first self-service, AI, asynchronous, like K-Health or something like that. It's really kind of an informational thing.
Yep.
And then, saying, looks like your condition, you should be seen. You can go, to the provider. You can also do a video consult. So enabling that video consult and then handing off to local providers for that higher level care. It provides high value patients to the local, balancing that cost effective virtual solution. And as well as, you're fast tracked into, boots on the ground. ENT provider is the best of both worlds. What we're building, we haven't really named it yet. We're kind of, ENT Live or something of that nation. But that is something that's going to be rolled out on our new website, which will be coming out here in probably the next couple of weeks.
Very cool. Very good. Within specialty care, are you seeing any major trends at all or not?
Unfortunately, there's bad trends and the trends in our perspective, the lack of supply. There's some great charts. I might send you some after the call, but you just have this, supply going this way, or I guess demand for specialty services increasing year over year. And then the supply of specialists going down.
Right.
Population is increasing, but the number of residency spots for an ENT or a cardiothoracic surgeon is fixed. You have specialties like ENT where the average age is quite old. So you have people exiting the workforce. The replacement rate is, again, very fixed. And especially for private practice, the average ENT coming in, he's got hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. The cost of education is rising. And so, I think that impetus to say, I just came out of my residency or my fellowship, I want to be a practicing doc. Yeah, most people are choosing the employed path because you have a lot of debt. The market dynamics to start up your own practice is just this, that bar is higher and higher. And I think that's really where you're seeing the deck stacked against private practice. Part of, I think, what we're doing and trying to address is some of that market need because, what does private practice lack by comparison to the health systems or privately backed roll-up is scale. And so, being able to kind of knit all these private practices together and do things at scale, to the best interest, some things that are in the best interest of everyone is, gives them more competitive power within the marketplace. That's something we're trying to do with the things that we're building.
Well, let's face it, the practitioners, they're good at what they do, but they're not good at running a business or patient acquisition. And you're filling that void in a cost-effective manner.
Going back to your AI conversation, there's definitely a play here. Most serve a good purpose, but they are kind of rent-seeking machines. Once you're in the system, it's very hard to get out. A very expensive piece of software for a private practice. What are they really? They're kind of this multi-relational database with a nice X in the front. Obviously, that minimizes a lot of what they are. And I think AI can create more efficiencies. I envision an open EHR at some point, AI enabled, where whether it's the scribe, automatic coding, all of these things that I think are becoming more of a conversation.
Thanks, Pam. For any of the listeners out there, how can they find out more about ENT Urgent Care and also how to get in contact you?
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. So, always go to our website. It's at enturgent.com. If you're a patient, a prospective patient, you can see the locations that we have. Hopefully we are continuing to add and hopefully coming to your local market here soon. And if it's a provider that is kind of interested in learning more, joining the ENT Urgent Care Network and the plethora of products and services we're building, you can email me personally. My email is pat@enturgent.com.
Well, thank you, Pam, for joining today. And I look forward as you ramp up, and I will be checking in frequently to see the growth trajectory that you're experiencing and will continue to experience.
Sounds wonderful. Paul, I appreciate you having me on.